Hello, friends, and welcome back. Today, I am excited again to show off the Masters of the Universe Chronicles Man-at-Arms. So full disclosure, I'm probably not going to be buying very many of these. I just don't have the money and I don't have the room. But when it comes down to the vintage He-Man, Masters of the Universe in general, my favorite heroic warrior has always been Man-at-Arms, Duncun. And so to have a new movie Duncun out there, of course I'm going to get him. Absolutely. As you can see, we have the new Masters of the Universe Chronicles packaging with an embossed Masters of the Universe logos up here. Thanks to Pixel Dan pointing out that this looks like it says Man-at-Arms, and I can absolutely see it. M upside down A, N upside down A. I guess a crooked T with rounded corners, upside down A. You get the idea. Then over here on the side of the packaging, we have a picture of Idris Elba in costume there. Kind of has a painting look to it. Man-at-Arms, heroic master of weapons, Masters of the Universe logo there. We have the cool same artwork here on the side with a nice image of Skeletor on the other side here and the power sword in the middle. And you can see they also have those same runes right there, Man-at-Arms and Skeletor there. Tell logo, words junk. Then on the back of the box, we have some nice product shots as well as a cross sale showing He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Triclops. So yeah, I'm exceptionally excited for this movie. I think the toy line does look good. I can't afford it and I don't have the room, but there's no way in hell I'm not going to pick up a new Man-at-Arms. Now, unfortunately, in the packaging, you can see here his shoulder armor is not on there correctly, which kind of makes it look like he's got a broken arm, but I can see the shoulder back there. He don't have a broken arm. He's good. He's good. So let's bust out the mini meat cleaver of doom and slice this open. And more tape, more tape. And it. Now, much like the Masterverse packaging, it does have the little compartment here in the side with the contents being shown, what's in there. So you can see he's got a gun. He's got a couple extra fists. But there's actually nothing in here this time around. So it's just a space filler. Cool packaging, but I always liked that you had that little compartment full of extra goodies, and you don't have that here. But what you do have is a nice image of Castle Grayskull, and then that bridge that we see in the movie with the statues in front of it, which looks really, really, really cool. And here we have Man-at-Arms opened up and out of the packaging, and yeah, he just looks fantastic. But let's look at what he comes with first. So he has two fist hands separate in the packaging. He has his own little gun right here. Nice little sci-fi looking blaster. Painted handle. Cast in black plastic. It does have a hole here on the side, which we'll show that off in a second. And we have his traditional mace, which thankfully is not made out of gummy plastic. I love that. I hate when this is made out of gummy plastic. I really do. The head is on a separate piece from the rest of it, and it does spin. So it doesn't come out or anything, but it does spin. Nice sort of metallic, sort of lollipop colored. And then moving on to the figure itself, and man, they nailed that. That looks like it. Not only does that look like Idris Elba, it really does look like Hasbro's photo reel. Done very well. So yeah, I really, really dig that. I love the design of the helmet. I really do. It does look like the helmet is a separate piece from the rest of it. You can kind of see a seam here. Non-removable, however. Going down the armor. Again, it's smoothed out and rounded, which is kind of the motif for a lot of the looks of the new Masters figures. But that, there's no mistaking Man-at-Arms' look. Now, I would prefer that armor to be more of an orange. Just saying. But, this works. This works very well. I love the little divot thingies here on that shoulder piece. Love the detail right here. He does have the blaster on his one arm. I dig that a lot. Got little canisters of stuff on his belt. He's got a little club looking thing here. I saw Pixel Dan's review. He thinks that that might be this like collapsed in. That does make sense. Kind of wish that, you know, that wasn't what that was, but it does make sense. Nice armor here. Yeah. So the shoulder armor and the chest armor here is very much removable. As you saw in the packaging, this was just barely hanging on by a thread in there. Looks like you can just slide it. Oh, nope, this does have a peg on this one. So this one just slides off and on. This one you have to unpeg, and you do have pegs back here on the chest armor. So you can take that off. Very much vintage toy inspired there. And then you have a green Captain America suit underneath. I do get a little, I guess that's a sprue cut piece right there. But yeah. Oh no, not Captain America. That's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a green Guardians of the Galaxy suit. But as you can see, it is a nice looking detailed suit underneath there. Again, you got some more of those little rivet things in gold there on his shoulder. Nice padding. Very, very nice. Now the articulation on these is really good. So we do have a double jointed neck, which I think on mine is rotated. Let me pop this back off. Yeah, it kind of looks like this is tilted in a weird way. Kinda, sorta. I'm not sure which way is the front and which way is not. It kind of looks like that's the front. But as you can see, it's got a ball joint down here at the base of the neck with a little bit of movement. And you got a double ball joint there at the head. There we go. We do have butterfly joints here in the shoulder, as well as universal joints here on the shoulder. We have rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbows. We do have the standard just sort of pinned on rotation with the wrists. It does have that, you know, universal rotation joint in there, but due to how the gauntlets are sculpted, you kind of have to wiggle that around in an awkward way to get any articulation out of there. We do have a ball joint at the upper torso. We have a ball joint at the waist, which gives a nice range of movement there. We do have drop-down hips, and unlike Marvel figures and unlike my G.I. Joe figures, this does actually snap up and down, which is really nice. That's a good thing to do with articulation like that, so that it stays in place when you don't want it to be dropped down. Seeing a lot of scoring from where all these pieces were cut off of the trees that they were on, which that's kind of a shame, but most of that is well hidden. Anyway, we do have ball joints here at the hips, as well as a double jointed knee. And then we have a rotation and rocker at the ankles. So I was wrong about one of these joints. This is not a butterfly joint. It is a ball socket joint that goes further into the chest, very similar to what I showed on the 2000X He-Man, which means that that can also rotate up and down on the inside there, and then you have this nice cover. I mentioned the 2000X He-Man, but that's also very SH Figuarts, and I like that. I like that a lot. Now, because the hands are on universal posts, you can just unpeg this. It's very tight to do so, and just peg on your new hand if you want him in a fisted hand. And again, very tight. I would be very cautious doing this without heating that up. In fact, I would definitely recommend heating that up if you're going to do that. Now, again, because the hands are made out of a somewhat softer plastic, not gummy, but definitely a little bit softer material, and the weapons are nice and rigid, it's fairly easy to get those weapons in and out of the hand, and he holds it pretty well. The gun, as I mentioned, had a hole in it, and you can actually post that into that peg there on the side and have him kind of sort of holstering his gun all magnetic like, which does mean ultimately you can get this guy in some very impressive, very natural looking poses. And for comparison, here he is with the Classics 2000X version of Man-at-Arms. You can see he's not that much smaller, even though these are technically a smaller scale. But these were always considered a 1/12 scale figure, but were made bigger because they were supposed to be bigger, because they're from Eternia, and people on Eternia are huge. And here he is with the Origins Cartoon Collection Man-at-Arms. So will he live up to the hype of my favorite two Man-at-Arms? I don't know. We'll see. Here he is with the horrible, no good, very bad, ugly Masterverse Tila. I hate this figure so much. I haven't done a review on her. Should I do a review on her? I don't know. And here he is with my recently reviewed 2000X He-Man. And yeah, I definitely get a bit of a 2000X vibe from this version of Man-at-Arms. I mean, there's no denying that the coloration here and the more roundness of the armor is definitely more vintage cartoon inspired, as opposed to 2000X, which was more vintage toy exaggerated to the nth degree. But yeah, there's definitely a 2000X feel here, mostly due to the bodysuit underneath having all that tech detail. But yeah, all in all, I am highly impressed with this figure. I think it's a really good Man-at-Arms. It's a very good likeness, very good figure for overall articulation, good size, good paint detail, not stupid expensive, about the same as a Marvel Legends figure when it comes down to it. So yeah, all in all, I'm very happy with this figure, very happy with the likeness, and even more hyped for the movie than I previously was, which is saying a lot because I am extremely hyped for this movie. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Y'all have a good one.